Welcome, my friend. This is Yoga Reset. My name is Ethan Hill. In case you stumbled onto this via a YouTube rabbit hole or the title sounded nice and appealing to you, what we're doing here is we are learning how to reboot our nervous system, center our minds, recharge our depleted energy systems, all within a short contained time frame using 3 rules and 5 nervous system hacks. I highly recommend you head to my website and start with the initial video. There you're going to get all the context you need in order to apply this particular rule, which is one of the most helpful, important tools I've ever learned in my entire yoga career. The Eastern Star is where your attention goes during this practice, and ideally where your attention more or less stays during most of your day, and especially during meditation. That's at the seat of your willpower, which is in your third eye. Okay, your third eye, you can take your hand, place it on the very center of your forehead, maybe like in between the eyebrows and then an inch up. It's right around there and then a couple inches behind you. The Eastern Star roughly runs between your medulla oblongata, which is your brainstem. I'll even show you on the video here roughly where the medulla is. And then it moves forward through your pineal gland and out of the front of your forehead. And so your attention on the very center of your skull becomes exceptionally helpful for resetting your mind and reinvigorating your will. All right, if you've been paying attention, we first analyzed how we were feeling in peaks and valleys, rule number 1. Second, we determined which route we were going to take back to neutral, either the stream or the river or some combination of the two. And now we can actually get into the movement itself. So you can see here, I'm on a yoga mat. I encourage you to get on the ground, and we're just going to be doing some cat-cows while focusing on our Eastern Star on the center of our forehead. So go ahead and join me. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and start undulating your spine around. Okay, very light movements before we fully focus in. Good, now very slightly roll your eyes up, close them, and then while you move, I want you to keep the entire motion seeming to emerge from this center point. So you aren't concerned with what you look like, nor are you concerned with what I'm doing with my body. Instead, you're letting the natural body movements express themselves. And take some time to actually hold different poses. So maybe you come into what's called a cow pose, which is you looking upwards in the sky, squeezing your back body. And maybe applying either a stream or a river breath. As a reminder, if you were too upregulated, you hold your breath lightly at the bottom of your lungs, relaxing the body while keeping the spine strong. Or if you are in a valley and you needed to come up, well then, you'll hold the breath at the top, very lightly, squeezing everything. Eyes centered. We'll do the same thing in cat pose. So push away from your body. Drop your chin all the way down. And even though you're in a new shape, your attention remains entirely centered on your Eastern Star. By the way, I call it Eastern Star. I've heard this before in other circles. It's because it helps guide you towards different higher states of consciousness. And in fact, in some of the highest states, this area begins to illuminate like a small sun inside of your head, disintegrating your entire ego in a flash of beautiful transcendence. In the meantime, the more we keep our attention here, the more we are centered and we can make righteous decisions for ourselves and our lives. So you keep your attention here and then try your best to also keep the other half of your attention on the energy in your body and the breath itself. So again, if you were doing a stream, you're holding the breath out. You lightly keep the breath at the bottom. You just see how long you can maintain that. You'll notice that the longer you maintain it, the more your body will want to relax. Almost as though you were going into battery conservation mode, which I'll actually talk about further in a later arousal hack. Okay, take just a few more moments to move the spine in new directions, Again, focusing on either your up or your down breath. Good, okay. Come back to neutral, comfortable seated position. The entire time keeping your mind centered on your forehead. Take a second. Notice this holographic image of yourself with eyes closed. All right, you know where your hands are, you know where your feet are, you know where your head is. And the more you imagine a light in the middle of your skull, the more you recognize that you're not actually inside of your body. Right? It's not like your face is a front windshield like a car. It's not like you're actually in your Eastern Star. Rather, all of that appears in the open field of awareness. All right, my friend, I highly recommend that you listen to the next video where we're going to get into the actual subtleties, the nervous system hacks themselves that actually make the practice far more useful and effective for you. Thanks for your attention. I'll see you there.